Adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Download!
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Matt and
Riz
from Vowws.
Nice, here at Download Festival. Now, I got to tell you, I was really impressed because I was at your set, and you were competing with Orbit Culture and Archers, and you still had a badass amount of people there. Like, did that, shock you a little bit that you have two other bands you're competing at, and you still had a huge crowd?
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten a little bit used to that over the course of the festivals. There seems to always be a bunch of curious people. I think there are people that are starting to find out about us, but also it feels like people are into finding out about new music. It's good.
Right, and what I liked about you is you're unique, which is hard to find nowadays. I do festivals all over the U.S., UK, Europe, and it's like nowadays a lot of bands, they use like this formula to write their music, and let's all sound like this microcosm of a genre.
Yeah.
And you guys reminded me of like old school.
Yeah. We think old school. Like, there's a lot of bands that they copy the same plugins as other bands, and we just try and do music that is as timeless as we can make it, and that just is what it is. We try not to fit into a particular genre.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like something starts to work.
Right.
That's getting traction and people are like, oh, we should do that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, what if it sucks?
Right?
No.
And you have to have your own sound. There's too many bands out there nowadays that you could get lost in the sea. Back in like the 80s, nobody sounded the same because there were only a handful of bands, so how could you copy the other ones?
Yeah.
We were in a hotel room last night watching a documentary, like British documentaries about music in the 80s. They're kind of cooler, I suppose, because Britain had such a diverse, weird scene in the 80s.
It did.
And it was all about that. It was like there was one band that would do one thing, and then right next to them in the same, like, quote-unquote genre, they're doing completely different shit.
Right.
It was so diverse.
Like, I don't even know if you know the band Striper. They were like this Christian heavy metal band back in the 80s.
Okay.
And I was at a gig where they were the opening band for Slayer.
Yeah.
Like,
That's amazing.
Right?
That's amazing. That's like...
And that's kind of how it was. Like, Slayer and Metallica left L.A. to go to the Bay Area because they were the only ones like that. So they couldn't play with anybody except hair bands.
This might not be exactly the case now, but we always used to say we're too dark for the mainstream, like for the normal people, and a little bit too normal for like all the super goth extreme, whatever, you know, like we are our own thing, and whatever the hell that means, for better or worse.
I get it, though. After seeing you, like, I think it's a whole different level to see somebody live opposed to listening to their music, because I think you get the band a lot more. And exactly what you said is exactly what I was seeing. It was because, and then when your voice came, I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the 80s, but like the gothic type of stuff in the 80s, not the gothic now.
Yeah, exactly. And gothic stuff in the 80s was, I've said it before, but it's like more. It was more diverse.
Yeah.
There's the goth scene today. It's hard to explain it exactly what I'm thinking, but it just feels a little bit more like it's copying certain parts of it. Yeah, exactly.
They're all copying each other.
Yeah.
And I call it like an algebraic equation they use to make their music, you know? Instead of like the 80s bands, they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and they had nobody to copy from.
Except they generally tried to write good songs, right? Or good pieces of music, whatever, like whether it's songs, quote unquote, or pieces of music, they were trying to do good stuff.
The creativity.
That's what I think it comes down to at the end of the day. Like whatever style or genre or you want to use to color and present your music can change, but the writing has to be good.
Well, they say it like in all the punk bands that I ever interviewed are always like talking about the Descendants and their songwriting. Like, no, they all say none of us could write songs like the Descendants. So it's that same thing. It has to be a good song. You write creative, good song for it to last.
Absolutely, yeah. Because otherwise, we don't listen to any one genre. We don't necessarily listen to goth music.
Right.
We don't really listen to, you know what I mean? We mainly listen to like film scores, which I'm not trying to sound pretentious and be like, but it's just so writing and emotion heavy.
Yeah.
Because they're putting music to a pre-existing emotion, and it's pretty specific. So when you're sitting there and you're listening to that, you sort of are taken on this emotional journey, and that's where the writing begins.
That's the way music should be, though, because, listen, music's the best therapy there is.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it has to have emotion in it. And it has to have passion in it, or else it's not going to hit here, you know? What was that one moment in time in your life that you decided this is what you needed to do and nothing else?
For me, it wasn't, I don't think it was conscious necessarily. It was just like the way I was.
Yeah.
And the things I was drawn to. And even as like a child, I'd get hooked on like the TV theme intro for some cartoon because it was really pretty, and it would change me somehow.
Yeah.
And that feeling was like, I'm still chasing it, or I'm still...
Well, that's like
you know what I mean? It wasn't like a choice like, oh, I want to do music because my dad plays guitar. Like, there's nothing like that.
It's what hits you.
It was just this thing that, it's this chemical thing that started to happen, and I just kept following it, and couldn't wait to finish high school and get to college and study it, and then meet people like Matt, and just like kind of just forever. We're lifers. It's not a choice.
Right, exactly.
I don't even fucking like doing this anymore, but I don't have a choice.
That's so funny. Of course. And you know what? It's funny that you said about meeting in college, because I find some of the best artists I found out there, that's where they met, in college. Because I think you're at a different mentality level then.
There's definitely like between the ages of like, I don't know what it is, like 16 and 24 or something. Like there's that period where everything in your life is new and fresh, and you're curious and you want to explore whatever the hell's going on around you.
Yeah.
That's like the music that I discovered then is still really important to me. And I think it's that. Like when you're doing things like the future is hopeful and wide open and all that shit.
Totally. Tell you something funny. When you started smoking the cigarette on stage, Nicole over here, I'm going to smoke with her.
Solidarity.
It's kind of funny,
My
too.
dream, sorry.
Go ahead, go.
When I get rich, I want to start a smoker's airline. Like an airline.
I used to smoke on
everybody
planes.
is allowed to smoke.
That would be
if
so
you don't
cool.
like it, don't book it. But all the smokers will be having the best time.
Right.
Because airport, even if it's like if we're going LA to New York, we live in LA, that's at least 5 hours airtime, plus at least like an hour on either side of just so try to get a smoker to not have a cigarette for 8 hours. Like, I'll become a bazillionaire if I start it.
You're gonna have to bribe the shit out of the FAA.
Whatever, it's fine.
I remember
It's private
smoking
company.
on planes, and it's like, it does suck. That flight from New York to LA without
You're
a
just
cigarette.
Like, oh my God.
If I go without a drink, I'm fucking grumpy.
Right?
But you can get that on a plane, see?
You can still get that.
Haters.
So
What's that about?
Since you guys are from LA, my dad moved me to LA from New Jersey in 1980, if you could imagine. The perfect time to move LA. Okay? And funny enough, you were mentioning about what we were talking about. What was that moment for you? For me, I was always into music since I was like real little. But the moment it really was like, oh my God, this is just all me, was my first club show at the Roxy. And it was Motley Crue before they got an album. They weren't glam, they were horror punk. Yeah. And they were trying to light the whole Roxy on fire and bring Satan in. And I'm like, I'm never going to another real concert again. And that started me being at clubs every Friday and Saturday night, whether it was on the Strip or the Troubadour and the Country Club in Reseda, which isn't even there anymore. That was iconic. And, you know, it was, what a scene.
Sorry. It got its claws in, didn't you? That was the moment.
What?
It got its claws in and it never let go.
100%.
Like that was that moment for you.
Oh, it was like just, before that I liked music. But then it was like, oh my God, I just like the whole scene.
But LA in the 80s was something else, though. Right?
Unbelievable. I was at Slayer's first show ever, Metallica's first show ever.
Yep.
And you would go to a Metallica show, and there'd be like 25 of us, and we'd all go over to their house and party all night long. Or I remember the last time I was at the Rainbow, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, how did I get in this place at 14 years old? Oh, I walked in with Motley Crue. And I'm hanging out with Lemmy at 14 at the Rainbow. It's like just so wild and the memories I have, at least the ones you remember. Because they say
the best ones are the ones you can't remember.
Yeah, they say if you can remember the 80s, you weren't on the Sunset Strip, you weren't there.
You weren't there.
Exactly. So here's my battle vest from the 80s.
Fuck yeah.
That's amazing.
Before they made these pre-made shit, okay?
This is real.
This is all my drawing on it.
This denim color's awesome too. I don't see this a lot as much.
Right?
The whole thing.
They
Yeah,
didn't
this
even
is
have
incredible.
a Slayer patch yet, so I just did this. And in L.A., they thought I was a gangbanger, and that was my gang name. And like bands that look at this, Slayer. This
is beautiful.
And this, like Winston from Parkway Drive was like, when did they have a logo like that? They never were a devil band.
You could probably sell that for a lot of money.
Oh, Winston said you could put it on eBay for $5,000 and get
Put
it
it on
easily.
eBay for $5,000.
Yeah,
Let's
fuck
do it.
that. I want it.
Nah,
Now
that's worth so
now
much
you'll
more.
see the other history, because that's the mosh pit side. Look at those patches.
Damn.
They're coming off. I don't think it's $5,000 anymore.
And there's blood.
Restoration.
There's blood on here from when I climbed up on Marshall Stack, did a swan dive, crowd moved, teeth first, linoleum floor.
I swear I've seen a YouTube video of you somewhere doing that.
I'm sure you did, because it is. The band that happened with, I've been friends with since then, and he was like, that was the most tragic thing that ever happened in LA metal. He goes, I felt so bad.
It's why I don't do shit like that.
I won't anymore. I won't crowds. I'll go in the pit because I'm in control.
Yeah.
I won't crowd surf. I won't stage dive. I don't trust these motherfuckers a bit to do that.
Stage
Abel.
diving is like a trust fall.
You can't even do it now. Like they have it all way out here. Like you'd have to be a super diver to get out to the crowd.
And then if they don't catch you, you're really fucked because you'll probably die because you dove so hard.
Yeah, totally. You would hit that fence and snap your neck or whatever. Tell everybody how they can reach out to you guys on socials, on the web, check out your tour dates, music, and most importantly, buy your merch, because if they don't buy your merch, they can't listen to my show, because that's the only way you survive.
It's all vowsband.com. Just the band name, band.com.
Make sure they know it's not just one W.
2 W's because there's 2 of us. That's how we came to that decision. So Vowws with 2 W's.
See, I didn't even have to ask that question, which I never would. I would never ask.
So why
it's the-
2 W's?
Or how'd you get your band name? Stupidest ever.
There is no why. We just came up with it. That's
That
Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Like, I don't get why press people ask that question. It's like all my friends that are band members are like, that's a fucking question we hate the most. It's the stupidest question ever.
It's like it doesn't matter, and you could have just come up with it in the kitchen one day.
Yeah.
Unless it's a sick band name, like, I don't know, something really out there that you're like, I don't know, like Anal Cunt.
How about this
a
one? Do you
band
remember?
called Anal Cunt in
There was
Australia.
there was a punk band in L.A. called Gay Bikers on Acid.
There you go. Now you can ask about that one.
Right. That's a great. Like that's a great.
fucking rad.
Ask why.
Hey, or you just say that's amazing.
Right.
That's what I would say.
I'd say why.
Any final words for our listeners?
No, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and I just really fucking
We
want to
have
be
an
here.
album coming out on October 24th.
Good for my birthday because I'm October 11th.
So buy the album.
Yes, for sure. Do you guys
And
play the
thanks.
U.S. festivals? Because I do all the U.S. festivals.
Not this year. We're sort of like still sort of working on album stuff. You know,
All right.
putting the release out. We're pretty DIY. We do all the visuals and the artwork and everything ourselves. We like to do it. Yeah, we're going to do that. And then we're going to play some more.
Nice.
Next year is the answer.
Next year.
Let's
is the
do
answer.
it. Hopefully I'll see you at one of those.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here at Download and on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.